Hardest history. Honestly, that was actually probably the one time I didn't actually talk about the event and was like, this is like, or that's not true. I talked about the event, but I kind of censored it a lot because the real event was that bad. What the Japanese do to the Chinese in Nanking. Yeah. I could only talk about that so much because that's is bad. It's real bad. I mean, thankfully in AP Euro, like you'd only talk about it a little bit, but like it's that one was rough. That's rough because as someone who studied history, like I know of that event decently well, and yeah, that one's a rough one. That one, that's probably one of the roughest things that I had to read about. Yeah, that was bad. Tiananmen's real bad. Tiananmen, it's always that picture, but like the aftermath of the picture is far worse. Yeah, so yeah, that was probably the hardest one in terms of just like knowledge and stuff. I'd probably say it was probably, I don't even remember what it was. It's probably just an AP question. It's probably like the Haitian Revolution or something. Just like just a topic that I wasn't as familiar with it like the first year I was teaching Euro. But yep. Kelsey, I mean, I'd honestly like. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to people. That stuff it's really bad. Yeah, the experiments and that the United States gave them amnesty for. Yeah, no, I've talked about that before. But yeah, Nanking is like you read some of those sources and it's not a fun time to read about. Yeah, history of genocide class in college. Good God, I mean that has to be like a real like engaging class, but damn, that's some dark content. That's some dark content. Like a lot. So, yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's good. Oh yeah, meme. I talk about that freshman year. That's usually a lot of fun. I talk about it because it's when oh my God. We're talking about like Persian Empire and Greece because it's what 300's based off of. And that's how I realized I was old. My first year teaching. And we were talking about Greece. And I was like, how many of you have seen the movie 300? And one kid did. And I was like, okay, that's on me. That's on me. That's on me. So, oh, Holly, yeah, we're going to do uno mas. Don't you worry. We're going to do uno mas cerveza. Other. Happy freaking fracking birthday. We're going to do one more. Kim Wexler vids. There we go. Bring back Kim Wexler and Saul Feet. There we go. Like America wanted. That's America right there. That's it. Johnny Barks. Were you there, Johnny? Where that was last week, where it said one of the bots was like Kim and Saul's feet pics, and I was just like, Johnny would appreciate this because Better Call Saul is an amazing show. It's true. It's true. I like the World Wars. Did you teach them? Yes. World War I and post World War I are my favorite topics in history to talk about. Yeah. Derrick Henry. No, I don't think he'll be MVP. I don't. So yeah, we're rocking. We're just chilling. It's 100% Scooter. I would just love like Scooter's like this wholesome creator who's like, I won't curse, I won't do this or whatever. And he's just like, I need an outlet. And he's just like, it might happen. Hi, Moosey. It's the moose. Mm-hmm. He's chasing the imaginary injury demon. Yes. yes, and yes. He just puts on a costume. He's just like, now it's time for evil Scooter. True. It's true. Is he watching the divisional sagas? He said he's going to wait till the end for the South. So I need Kim Wexler feet pics. That he's a Quentin Tarantino of that. Right, but if I watched 300 on base at 29 Palms when it came out, it was over 300 Marines at a tight theater. We were amped as F afterwards. Dude, like, it was a good movie. I remember seeing that in theaters. It was good. I liked it. It's for a client. It makes sense. Johnny, you should just, like, subtly, like, slip in Kim Wexler feet pics into just all my videos. Don't do that. But no. Does Nanking justify the bomb? No. It doesn't, because one has nothing to do with the other. The bomb was originally meant for Germany, and then when Germany surrendered, we were like, oh crap. This is always one of the most fascinating conversations, and we have a huge debate in class about it, and I split up the students for them to debate it, about why the United States dropped the atomic bomb, let alone two. And, you know, once you start getting around to it, was like, hey, like, Soviet Union, kind of to intimidate a bit, you know, then it starts getting, oh, is that a good idea? Put a lot of money into it. Can't just put a lot of money to it and not use it. But yeah, no, I did one of my semester long papers. It was like the whole semester you had to choose a topic, and it was my topic was basically what were the plans for the atomic bomb afterwards, because they didn't know what they made. Like, that's the best part. Like, they had no idea. Like, not a clue. There's like, this thing goes boom and is going to be real big. And I found primary sources and newspaper articles that said, hey, like, we're going to drop it into the eye of the hurricanes to break up and dissipate the storms and stuff. Like, they legit were like, hey, like, we could use it for a bunch of things. And it's just crazy. Yeah, Tokyo firebombing, though. Oh, God, that's another bad one. That's another real bad one. Yeah, a guy survived both bombs. Yep. So, yeah. Most disturbing thing the U.S. has done. Oh, buddy. Grave with the Fireflies. I showed that for extra credit after school to my sophomores. That was a time. Oh, I gotta think about that. Kelly Terror, World Wars by AP Euro. One, Pop was a tank driver. Oh, in the liberation of France, another was a medic in Samoa. We're like the same age, but I really wish you were like my teacher. Kelly, thank you. That's amazing connections to history, though. That's amazing. That's awesome. Have you ever seen this? Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can find this video. Is this it? Oh yeah, this is a different version. You ever see this before? This might get me demonetized, but who gives a crap? You ever see this? Show like how many nuclear bombs have been dropped in history. So it's like, it starts off like relatively small, and then by the time you get to 1973, you get like in the hundreds, because you have like the height of the Cold War, and like the beeping like just like starts going insane amounts until like the 90s. Yeah. I used to show this to my kids too, because it starts off so slow and it's like a long video. And it's like, oh, okay. And then it just gets wild. Like the United States like dropped all of them. They were like, yeah, let's just drop all these nuclear weapons. Mostly just testing, but yeah. Worst thing the US has done. Hannibal's Italian roleplay. Ooh. Okay. All right, we're getting a little creative here. Hold on. Hannibal's back. The worst thing. Yeah, Native American genocide's real bad. Like, real bad. It's not even like one event. It's multiple events. That's really bad. I feel like, though, one of... Again, it's so tough to, like, play the Sorrow Olympics and be like, which one's worse? But I feel like one of the things that's not talked about enough, because, like, it's still pretty recent history, it's like within the past, like, 100 years, is the United States sterilizing thousands and thousands of women. Eugenics that was in there. That was really, really bad. And like, that's pretty recent. There's a little novella called The Yellow Wallpaper. And kind of just like the way that was handled. Obviously, you have the transatlantic slave trade. You have the genocide of the Native Americans. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, the eugenics program, like that's one of the things that like people just don't know about. Like, obviously, like slavery's talked about a significant amount. That's not to belittle that at all. The genocide of the Native Americans, hopefully in some places, are talked a good amount about. Yeah, eugenics though is like recent. Black Wall Street. Oh my God. Yeah, talk about the bombings. I will never forget. And like this is like, I was like, oh God, we don't teach us enough in schools. I remember when the limited series of Watchmen came out, not the movie, but the one that came out a few years ago on HBO. And it opens with those bombings, and it opens with Black Wall Street and people flying in planes and dropping dynamite. And there's people who went online and was like, oh, this is so woke. Like, this never happened, because they literally were never taught it. But like, that legit happened, in which you had airplanes flying over and dropping pieces of dynamite. Like, crazy, insane stories. Railway Tenor, yep, massacres, yep, bad when soldiers, yep, dude, it was bad. It was real bad. Yeah, so. Oh, regime changes in Central America? Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, like, that's, and again, I think that that's the issue, that, and it's not, we're not going political, but I think it's the issue of, you can talk about, like, I'm not even gonna talk about America at this point. Let's talk about Belgium, right? Belgium, you're like, get my chocolates. Belgium, right? Nice little Belgium. Belgium is responsible for the Congolese massacre, in which 10 million with an M, 10 million people are killed in the Congo to get all types of resources. And it's not talked about a lot. And there's one museum, that still talks about it and highlights it. And good old Leopold II, what a freaking asshole that guy was. But I think it's called In the Heart of Darkness. It's a really great book about it. But Belgium does this, and current leaders and more in like the 21st century, they don't like to acknowledge it. They don't like to talk about it. They don't want it to be taught about, because it's a very shameful part of their history. And I get that 100%. But that's the issue. We can talk about shameful things that our country did, but if we tried to hide them in the dark and don't acknowledge them and be like, hey, we can acknowledge this happened, let's just make sure this crap never happens again, and let's acknowledge it, the repercussions of it, and so then we can be better to make sure that like this crap and all the consequences of it, are rectified, right? But the problem is, it's like, well, if you bring this up, it's like, well, you're against the country. And that's where we get into like hyper nationalism, like scary territory, because if you can't call out the faults of your nation in an attempt, and I want to make that clear, in good faith, in an attempt to make it better and rectify past mistakes, then what are we doing? Like, that's the problem. If we're doing it to, like, if you're just being like, oh, let me just crap on my country, I think that there should be well, let's do it at like constructive criticism in a way that we make things better so this stuff doesn't happen again, right? Like, I think like that's what we should do. Like, that's what it is. Like, America has a very dark past. And you look at this country, it's like, it was built on the back of slaves. Like, there's a lot of really terrible stuff. And it doesn't make you less American to acknowledge that and be like, hey, let's make sure that like all those ramifications and consequences of those events, let's make sure that those are, like taken care of and we don't do it again. That's it. John Fire finally ordered my PS5. Let's go, John. Let's go. Just in time for God of War. That's all. Yeah, we have great history. We have amazing history in which we are leaders and pioneers, and it's phenomenal. Great. We also have really bad history. Both exist at the same time. Let's talk about both. That's all. That's it. That's it. Let's talk about both. Top 2 beers later. Well, let's talk about Woodrow Wilson. Show it if I reminds me of quote, history's not there for you to like or dislike, it's there for you to learn from. Amen. Luke went to our Canadian Indian residential school system. Good God. Talk about the assimilation of Native Americans. Woof. Giggity to fire. Most grounded quote I've heard is everyone has bits of blood on their hands. Anyone that claims they don't just splattered it on their backside. Yeah. Again, history for me is like, please, I'm desperate in New York City. I don't want to take the Metro North. History, like, should not be boring. Are there boring parts of history? Definitely. There are some that are definitely more dull. Talk about the commercial revolution. You're just like, oh God, throw me out a window, defenestrate me. But like, it's a story. Like, it should be fun. I got you. John Winter, Tom Grossi for NFL commissioner. Got him. But yeah, no, it's like, it should be interesting because there is so much interesting stuff. And I feel like that there is a big problem too, because a lot of the curriculum that's created, and I'm just speaking as a New Yorker who deals with New York State curriculum, I feel like the best classes that I've had are classes where we are not bound by curriculum because there's a pace that you need to do so you can do well on a test later. And like, so for example, like AP Euro, favorite class I've ever taught, AP Euro. I loved it. Yes, there was a test at the end of the year, but I told kids straight up, and I told their parents this too. I was like, my class is going to be harder than the exam. And it was. But at the same time, we were able to talk about so much stuff because there's only so much you could do in the allotted class period, right? So like, you're an AP, the students have to be able to do the work outside of the class, right? But once you get to class, we could break it down, we could analyze it, we could talk about other things, we can go different ways. And that's what made the class so great, because we have such a large scope from the Renaissance to present day. There's a lot to cover. So it allows you to kind of dive into some of the really intriguing parts of history. And like, I love that, because if your history teacher is just like boring, dull, and making you read out of textbooks and, monotone or whatever, like, nah, like that sucks. Like that's terrible. Like, there's no excuse for that. Like, that's on the teacher to make it better. Definitely make it better. Douglas, so entire history isn't black or white. We gotta talk about the good and bad and learn from it. Some of my favorite lesser talked about worse: Tulsa massacre, Congo genocide, Mongol invasions, Irish famine. Yep. Hell, talk about the Ukrainian famine, right? Oh man, I dove so hard into that in AP Euro and in 10th grade too. Just talking about, like, listen, like Stalin's a really bad guy. And talking about the pogroms that he carries out and the literal genocide and famine that was intentional that he caused on the Ukrainians is terrible. Kelly Tara loved AP Euro, but screw DBQs. DBQs, if I taught you, you'd crush him. Crush him. Majio Terry, Mr. Grossi got statistics homework. Can you help? Nope. Can't. Nope. Definitely not. Definitely not. No. That, oh my God, that movie's so bad. I'm sorry. If you like that movie's terrible. The Pearl Harbor one, oh God, it's so bad. It's so bad. LQ can help you though. LQ will 100% help you with your statistics homework. 100%. I had terrible math teachers, so I never liked math. Like, terrible. So, yeah, Armenian Genocide's another one. Yep. Like, the fact that people are learning about what happens with India and Pakistan from the Miss Marvel series should probably, like, illuminate, like, hey, maybe we should help the education system. But I think there's also a very intentional method to devalue and deconstruct the education system. Like, very intentional, which is bad. Hufflepuff with a fire. Tom's released a video just giving us a sample of AP Euro class. I want to see a Mr. Grossi class. Listen, ask any of my former AP Euro students. Like, we worked. But we had so much fun in that class. So much fun. Vehicle. Hi. Thank you for the tour. Appreciate you. Like, again, the way that I would do is I would do different period assessments. in which it'd be like, okay, period 1, period 2, period 3, period 4, blah, blah, blah. We would do that. And I would say, make the assessment however you want, as long as you demonstrate to me that you understand. I had kids make music videos. They made raps, which were phenomenal. Fun fact, first AP Euro class, they took Childish Gambino's, oh my God, what's the song? Holy crap. Is it like 3000? Like 99 or something like that? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I love the song too. But they basically took the beat to that, and no, 3005. Thank you, Johnny Bart. Yes, 3005. They took that, the same exact beat and everything, and they used AP Euro stuff from that period to rhyme and make a full rap and a full music video out of it. And they were literally singing it to themselves during the exam, and that helped them. Like, that's the thing. Like, I feel like, especially when you're in classes where there's like big tests at the end, it's not this like gotcha, trickery bullshit you should be doing as a teacher. You're there to help the students succeed. The test is at the end, yes, but they should also learn this. It's not just like memorizing crap and then after the test is over, they never remember it again. Like, it's like building in those lessons so they actually are memorable and there's an actual understanding there. And that's what I told my students. I don't care. And that's why some like math and science oriented students struggle with history and English, because there are some that could just memorize. They memorize for the exam or the assessment. They pump it out and they're done. I've never taught history that way. I'm never going to go, okay, when was this date? No. Because if you understand it and the context of which this event or this reign happened, you'll know the date because you'll know the order in which it happened. So, for example, like my assessment, they get to choose what it was. I had some that made a full-blown magazine. Like, they made a legit magazine, cover to cover, articles inside of what happened within that period. And it was phenomenal. And they remember it too, because they understand the material. And if you're able to take content that you understand and transform it into a different medium, then I know that you get it, right? Instead of just like giving me some right answers or memorized answers. So the point that I was making is that the students, like what I had them do per period, is they had to tell me, they had to justify it, what were the top 10 people of the period, and explain why, rank them 1 through 10, and explain to me why this one's number 1, this one's number 2, how come they made it over other people, the top 10 events of that period, rank them, explain to me why. Then they put it on a timeline. So when it came to the test, they had the timeline. They had 10 most important people. They had 10 most important events. When we were studying for the AP at the very end, I did March Madness brackets. I created a 64-person bracket. They chose the 64 most important people, and they had to justify who was the more impactful. They could be the worst people in the class. Who was the most impactful? They had to give a little explanation as to why they were the most impactful. And by the end, you have all the reasons. You never have to open the textbook again, because you have your notes, you have the assessments that I gave you in which that you wrote saying these are the most important people, most events. And at the very end, you're going, oh, this is why Martin Luther is more important or had more of an impact than Desiderius Erasmus. And that is what you're supposed to do, because students remember that. And you're giving them the tools to succeed on whatever you want to do. CL says, sign up for high school lacrosse team. Napoleonic Wars and World War II. That's the fun stuff to learn. Napoleonic Wars are fun. See what's how's your dating life going? We vibing. Football is love. Football is life. But football is also death. One Horse Switcher, have you seen the history of time travel on Amazon? I have not. Red Fire, you've seen the Pacific? Yes, I have. Yes, that's a very, it was a series, right? That was good. Yes. Gigi Tour, maybe history vids related to the NFL Packers? Yes, they are in the works for the offseason. Kazu with a fire regarding Armenia. Look at the assassination of Pasha. Shot in broad daylight in Berlin after the war. Quit on the defense of I'm Armenian. There you go. God's Butt Monkey with a 10. When I was in high school, early 90s, most of my history teachers just gave us worksheets every day and tests every so often. His class was the hardest, but was interested in learning the most. As long as they did a decent job. Majin with a tour. You call the 49ers the Santa Clara 49ers. No, I just shun when I hear them. That's it. That's it. Geneva Fire, good history teachers answer the question, why should I care about what happened? Too many history is the who, what, where, when. Yep, not why. I agree. Completely agree. Completely agree. John Fire, glad Madden finally added almost all alternate elements to the game. The important stuff. Bad with a Fire, damn, I almost missed the show. Better late than never. Also, rebroke a tooth today. Oh, bad. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. Who's the most impactful? Well, that was the best part about it. Every student had a different answer. And that's fine. Because there's no wrong answer. Because if you look at what the AP's asking you in the thematic essays and DBQs, they're asking you to justify your answer. So as long as you have the evidence to back that up, you win. And that's it. Like, you could say that Isaac Newton, most impactful in AP Euro. You could say Adolf Hitler, right? Most impactful, not in a good way, but you can say that he was the guy. You could say Joseph Stalin was definitely the most impactful in AP Euro. You could say Otto von Bismarck. You could you could say Martin Luther. There are so many people that you can pick, and that's fine. There's no wrong answer, and that's what I had to explain to students. There's no wrong answer as long as you're able to use actual evidence to justify your reasoning. You're good. That's it. That is it. Because that's what you should be able to do. So, no one argued in favor of Hitler. No, because that's not what the assignment is. It's impactful. Okay, why was he impactful? Is it the rejuvenation of Germany? Is it the mindset and brainwash that he did? Is it the hyper-nationalism? Is it the genocide and Holocaust that he did? Is it the World War II that he got them into? Like, explain. That's it. Just justify why, and you're good. That's all. That's all. And that's what the purpose is. So... Sir, with a Fire, is it sad that Miss Marvel taught me a part of history I had no idea about? No, I mean, like, because that's the thing. You're here now. You can't control what your teachers teach you. But as an adult, afterwards, you can look and be like, I want to seek out this information. Soul with a Fire, how important is loving yourself first before you even think about pursuing any kind of relationship? Oh, it's all of it. It's all of it. I mean, like, again, I've talked about this plenty of times on stream. But it's... I think, I've gotten to therapy now for 2022. So 2 years? Yeah, right around 2 years. Yeah. I wish I did it sooner. But I think you need to unpack, and some can do it through therapy and some can do it without therapy. You need to kind of unpack it's like history, like understand the why of why you do things. I think that's very important because I think that you may have this idea that, oh, I have these experiences and they're normal because everyone has these experiences. And because of that, you develop mindsets, behaviors based off of those experiences, worldviews, ideas, thought processes. Like you get all that stuff through your experiences. And I think until you're able to, and again, this is just the advocation for therapy, you sit down and go, hey, let me talk to an objective person who I can unload on and be like, hey, this is what happened. And they're able to kind of like navigate you through, hey, maybe that wasn't so normal. Hey, that doesn't happen to everybody. Or like that thought, maybe it's a little like overblown. Maybe you shouldn't think that about yourself. I think like that's key because if you are expecting a person to accept you, like there does need to be the self-acceptance, but I think it's important to have an idea of who you are, and not to get like super like meta on it, but I feel like that's a key component of it because is it just the idea of you that your parents raised? Is it the idea of you that like your friends interact with? Because there's plenty of people who are very different with their friends than they are in their relationships. There's plenty of people who are different with their parents. And I think it's just taking all of that and kind of getting an understanding of why you do what you do it just helps. So, yeah, I say it's important. Jad, I'm sorry. I came here to hang out because I was depressed for being ditched by friends. Didn't come here to get more depressed with what my country has done in the past. Thanks, Tom. Now I feel worse. Why? You didn't do it. At least I don't think you did. Bullet Fire, who do you think is the most impactful person in history? I don't think it was a person. I think that the event is the Neolithic Revolution. The invention of farming is the most important thing. That's it. Bearded Widow Fanny! Boop! Say, Tom, sorry for the absence. Life has been like the final season of Game of Thrones lately. Glad I could catch the show finally. Any thoughts on the Zadarius Smith comments? I think that perspectives are... Oh, I got you, God Butts Monkey. I got you. I think that people could look at the same event and take things differently. So I think that's what happened to Zadarius Smith. And it, it sucks. I wish him well, just not against the Green Bay Packers. So that's it. So Frank invented fire. Pretty cool dude. Pretty cool. Malik Willis, I think he'll play. Yeah. Hiring sugar daddies and DMs. Asking for money. My favorite event? Like, oh boy. Again, I just like post-World War I culture because I think it's a fascinating time period. All right, let's try this new beer. It's a golden ale from Odell Brewing. I hope it doesn't have poop in it. Giving back has always been a part of who we are. Oh, nice. They have 1% of revenue to people. That's nice. All right, so Draco, Tom, let's hear your thoughts on the Raiders. People are so hyped, it's almost like forgot about the head coach. Feel like we're shooting down a rocket ship. What I bring up? I think that the Raiders, if they were not in this division, would probably do very, very well. I think they are going to have a tough time within this division. And it's going to kind of come down to the defense to see how much they improved, as well as the offensive line. They got some great weapons. I think that they have good guys on both sides of the ball. I don't know how competitive they're going to be within their own division, though. Giggity Watura, the Z scenario is giving me Greg Jennings vibes. Of the Z? Yeah. I get you. My favorite assignment I've given to students? I do love the bracket. I talked about this before. I had students do tableaus. So, like, when we were doing world religions, like Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, stuff like that, when we were talking about that, I gave them pictures and they had to recreate the picture, and like they had to go up like with their bodies and like recreate the picture, and they couldn't say a word. They had to freeze, and students had to try to figure out what it was, and then they had to justify, the students who did it, they had to justify why they did what they did. And again, it helps with that understanding. The bubonic plague game, I played that, like someone's infected, someone's not, and you have no idea who's who, and it just kind of created that paranoia. It wasn't an assignment or an assessment, but it was just, again, I also view assessments differently. I don't necessarily view all assessments for a grade. Like, I know there's like cumulative and like summative and all that great stuff, but, or formative and summative, but I did a lot of assessments just to gauge understanding. So some of those were sometimes games. And I think as long as after that they had games, like they understood, we're good. Badfire, not wanting to be injured for sure, but how crazy do you think Perner would become if Wilson got hurt, was out all year? Disappointed. It'd be worse if he just sucked. Tony Widow Betty! Boop! Saying, Tom, glad that there's another history lover and ex-history teacher football question. What's the Steelers' record going to be, and why are they going to the Super Bowl? I don't think the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl. I mean, Steelers got a Super Bowl, but I don't think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I think like 6 to 8 wins. Their defense will be good, but they're in another division that is not going to be amazing. So defense will be good. Offense, I don't know. I don't know. Sorry. Worst thing I witnessed as a teacher? Blatant racism from teachers I worked with when I was there a month and a half upstate. That was awful. some students making some very anti-Semitic comments. That was another one. Yeah, I'd say those are probably up there. Yeah. There was a student who I was told about. Yeah, there was a student I was told about. I'm not gonna say like what year or anything like that, but there was a student I was told about that had severe anger issues, and would curse out teachers, become potentially physical with teachers, what have you. And at like this student in the beginning, like very rough around the edges. And as the year went on, they like did some work, didn't do some work, went back and forth and all this stuff. And it came down to there was a point, I remember it very, very well. The student just stopped doing work for every class, stopped doing work. And we had to have a meeting with all of their teachers and their parents. And kid doesn't show up to the meeting. People had to go find the kid. It's like hanging out where they weren't supposed to be. Get him on the meeting. Explain, failing this class, blah, 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 blah. Right? Meeting comes and goes. I walk out of the room that I'm in, because it was a virtual meeting. I walk out, and there's the kid. And fuming. This kid is fuming. Like, legitimately, like, fists clenched, ready to hit somebody, very, very angry. And I go, what's up? And they're like, I'm effing pissed. I go, why? They go, because that meeting was a waste of time. You know, they should have just came to me individually. Like, I'm going to get the work done. Now my parents know they're going to be on my back, et cetera, et cetera. Like, fuming. Like, you can basically see the steam coming out of this kid's ears. And I go, I agree with you. I go, that was a waste of time. But you know why we're in that meeting is because of you. It was kind of like a step back, and I was like, it was a fucking waste of time. And I said, I had to waste my time. I had to waste my lunch period to do that on work I know that you can do, but you're actively choosing not to. So if you think that that's a waste of time, just do it. We don't have to do these meetings anymore. Immediately lost all defenses, was like, okay. Graduated. I'm not saying I'm the person who did it, but like sometimes it takes just like being real with a kid and be like, hey, like, just do it. That's it. That's it. It was in the middle of the hallway too. I'm like, I don't know if this kid's gonna swing on me. Like, I don't know, but sometimes that's it. Bad with a fire. Raiders gonna finish second in the division behind KC, behind a very long time. Been a very long time since the Raiders had 1-2 punch wide receiver. It's been a while. Zach with a tour. Tom Grossi's all elite graphic confirmed. Yes. I won't start any problems with the locker room. Thor with a tour. Fan of history. Have you listened to Sabadon? Yes. Ray got me on there. Yes. Yes. Yeah. There was teaching there. But like that happens though. No, it doesn't have a bad ending. Like I've had one bad experience with a parent. One. Their kid cheated, blatantly cheated. And the mom tried to justify it. Be like, well, how do you know? I was like, well, the other kid literally had their paper. And your kid's name was still on it. Well, how is that against the rules? Well, they submitted work that wasn't theirs. And your kid gave it to them. Like, well, only one time. And I was like, you're just an irrational person. So. It's a nice beer. It's a nice light beer. I like this. Scott Fire, I would love to see you in Perna do history. And everyone, you say you would... Everyone say you would go do that without an ACL. That's rad. That's rad. Was there a student or students that you changed for the better? Yes. Yeah. There are. I'm not going to share their stories because like some of them are very personal. But there were students that came from rough places and were in rough places that I connected with immediately. And sometimes it took longer than others, but yeah. So it did. It did. But I mean, worst position I've ever been put in. So this is from the same school that I had to go up north to, and this is where like you had like racist coworkers, and they were effing awful. I was told my first day that in my class was a kid who was about to age out. He was 21, because it was an alternative school. He was 21, and he got in trouble for statutory rape the previous year. And the student that he was involved with and got in trouble for statutory rape was in the same class this upcoming year in my class. And I was like, what? Yeah, that one was bad. That one was real bad. I'm telling you, that school was the worst place I have ever. That was the one where I left my job at the private school, took a $10,000 pay cut, did a 90-minute commute. I had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, leave my house by 5:30 in the morning to get up there by 7. And you couldn't even teach because they said just give out packets. I talked about this on stream before, but all the students were at different levels. Some were 10% done, 50% done, 75% done, 0% done. So it had to all be individualized. There was like 20 kids in it. And I had like Global 1 mixed with Global 2, US. Then I had like a bunch of other different classes. They were 70 minutes long, and you couldn't teach. And these kids couldn't afford notebooks. I bought them all notebooks. Like I literally went to the store, bought them all notebooks, and brought them up in the trunk of my car. And when I went to other teachers, I said, why don't they have notebooks? And they go, oh, well, they're just not going to take notes. So I literally told my kids the first day, I was like, hey, are you guys going to take notes if I give you notebooks? They go, yeah. I go, okay. So I bought them all notebooks. It was horrific. Teachers like literally talking about like, oh, like this one had like a Pocahontas weave and stuff like that. And I was just like, excuse me? And then they started getting off on like a whole bunch of racist tangent crap. And I was like, no. And I remember literally going to the principal and I was like, this is unacceptable. Like, this is bad. Like, I've been places where it's not great, but this is awful. Like, this is terrible. And they're not teaching. And he goes, are you going to quit or like what? What are you going to do here? And I was like, cool. Bad fired. You ever have to deal with a parent or another teacher or even a kid who's a Karen? Yeah. But I was never afraid because that's the thing. You have teachers today that sometimes are afraid of parents. As long as you have evidence, 9 times out of 10, it'll be fine. Depending on your admin. Squibs, right, Queen Elizabeth, the queen of the morgue now. There you go. Tony, hold on, sorry. Tony said, with a 5er, someone else brought up Sabadon. Now I have to ask what your favorite song is by them. Probably the Bismarck one that Ray showed me. That was pretty great. That was pretty great. Jared, if you sing the Vikings fight song, I'll donate more money. I have morals. Hollywood Fennec! Boop! Say it, Tom, with the W again. Inspirational Friday, nightlife lessons and wisdom beyond compare. Appreciate you. Ray Winter says, mod chat for bad teacher story. Oh my. Oh yeah, that's no good. Yeah, that's no good. I've had students, again, like, there was one district, like, there's a lot of anti-Semitism. It was not good. Solid Fire, I worked with ESE kids. I had coworkers refer to kids. The R word makes me want to go in a different direction in life. I mean, listen, like, it's not easy. Like, that's the thing, too. Like, teachers in this country are not treated well. Like, it's not like a noble profession or all that stuff. Like, it's not good. And the issue is that as time goes on, like I will say, as time goes on, the pandemic really put that into view that teachers were glorified babysitters, and that did not feel good. Like, it didn't feel good. And I don't need a pat on the back. I don't need to be told like, oh, you're doing a good job, kid. No, I'm there for the students. I really don't give a crap. I don't like half the adults that are in the building. But, like, it was not good. And I feel like that kind of is what the view of a lot of the education system is. It's, hey, you watch my kid for X amount of hours. Great. So I can go to work. LZ with a tenner says, my birthday, I'm 20, now I feel old. LZ, happy freaking fracking birthday. Just wait till the knees hurt. Just wait. Just wait. So, yep. Yep. It's rough. To 40K. There you go. 40K. I mean, like, again, there's some teachers, depending on the district in which you work, but that's also part of the problem, too. Like, you want to work in these really affluent districts because you get paid a lot more money. And a lot of these other schools, which really need good teachers, they don't get them. Ray, if our student wasn't anti-Semitic, you tried to make the teacher argue that the Holocaust should have happened, turned it back on the teacher. Yeah, it's not good. You shouldn't put yourself in that situation. Because, like, those kind of conversations are, like, no. Like, that's just not a good one. Some teachers effing suck, man. Like, some teachers are terrible. Like, terrible. I've worked with a lot of bad teachers. Like, a lot of bad teachers. I am also, and people did not like this, but I flat out said, like, teachers should have more accountability. Like, they should. Like, once you get tenure and all that great stuff, like, you should have more accountability. The observations should still mean more. And, like, you should be able to be fired if you're doing a really crappy job. You shouldn't be able to phone it in because you're teaching literal kids and, like, the youth. Like, that's your job. You shouldn't be able to phone it in for 20 years so you get a nice pension. I've always disagreed with that. Always disagreed with that. You got to earn it. But at the same time, there needs to also be, like, some respect there. Bolt, would I fire it? How'd you transition from teaching to YouTube, and how long have you wanted to be a football YouTuber? I mean, that's the thing. I just did it. And that's what I think people don't understand. I've done this job for free for years. For years. If, like, I got demonetized, I'd still do it. Like, I don't care. Because I just love doing it. Like, I've done this. I've worked 2 full-time jobs, you know, as an adult. Hell, I did as a teenager, too. But in terms of, like, this, I started in 2015 with the podcast. I was a full-time teacher in 2015, 2016, 2017, all the way up until 2021. I was doing both. And from 2019 on, they were both full-time. So it's not even like I wanted to be a football YouTuber. I just loved doing it. It was a passion of mine. And so was teaching. And it got to a point where, like, this started to grow. I really, really loved it. And I chose this. So, Giga Tour, MSI subbed for literally had 27 staff resign. Dude, yeah. Yep, good old middle school. College fire had teacher who was a pedo. There you go. Didn't get fired. And teacher who said the N-word. School didn't fire until the students protested. That's great. That's great. Listen, there are terrible teachers out there. There's terrible admin. There's terrible lots of things. You know, but, you know, again, that's the education system that we have created. So I think homework and tests should be getting rid of to reduce stress levels? No, I don't think we should be getting rid of, but I think you should be able to explain to students why they're doing it. I think you should, I think, honestly, that's probably the biggest thing in my teaching career of why I was able to do what I was going to do. Because if a student said, why are we doing this? I could give them an actual answer. Because if you are just giving homework just for homework, that ain't it, Bob. That ain't it. If you could say, you need to do this because X, Y, and Z, that's it. Geneva Tour, Tom, you're my kind of teacher. Like, just be able to, like, explain. Like, think about yourselves, right? Like, if you're an adult, or even if you're not, if you're a teenager or whatever, and someone says, do this, and you go, why? And they can't give you an answer? That's on you. Like, that's on the teacher. because any type of leader, teacher, whatever, management figure should be able to explain the why. And if you can't, that is on you. That's it. That's it. General opinion on homework for my non-AP kids, I was pretty lax with it. So, again, like another one I did, one of the greatest things I've ever gotten. We're doing French Revolution. We're coming to the end of the unit, and I basically left it open to how kids want to demonstrate their understanding of the topic. I had a student sew from scratch a Marie Antoinette dress in which the front half, it was all like dazzling and beautiful to represent like Marie Antoinette's like kind of vanity and all that great stuff. And the back half was what she was executed in. It was like rags, they were bloodied, what have you. I was like, you get it. You get it. From hand, sewed it. By hand. And I was like, yeah, you get it. You understand. We're good. You get an amazing grade. Like, that's it. Like, that's what it is. Homework should be able to either cover stuff in class that you weren't able to, right? Or further understanding. That's it. That's it. And that student hated other classes were bombing them. That student crushed that assignment. Crushed it. Like, so you need to realize, like, it's every single student, and it gets tough when you have like 35 kids in a class, but like every single student, they might not like history. They might not like whatever topic that you're doing, but they also should be given a chance to demonstrate their understanding through various mediums. And there's one that's not more important than the others. Now, I will say when it comes to exams, like if there's an AP or a Regents at the end, they need to be able to do that, right? But for stuff that's not related to that, demonstrate it however you want to. I've had kids do poems. I've had kids do, they could write an essay if they really wanted to. I'm a big essay fan. Like, that's a thing. Like, I taught them skills. Hey, you're not a good essay writer? By the end of my class, you're going to be a good essay writer. Because I'm going to break it down for you, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Because every single time you write a thesis, you're going to crush it. My Gen Ed kids, so like 9th grade was Gen Ed kids and honors. Then 10th grade was Gen Ed, honors, and then AP. My Gen Ed kids from 9th grade knew how to write better than the honors and AP kids in 10th grade by the time they got to 10th grade. Because I gave them the skills to do so. Because why would I let them leave freshman year without knowing how to do so? Because I was like, hey, I'll give you 2 days to write a sentence. And then you're going to come in, you're going to tell me the sentence, and we're going to workshop it. Here's how it can be better. And we're just going to do that over and over and over again until you know how to do it. Because why not? I'm not going to say, do this for the first time without doing it, and you're going to be graded on it. That's dumb. That's real dumb. Like, real dumb. Ready to fire. I say, need to bring back home ec and shop class. It's true. Leave it to the AP students. Leave the Pythagorean theorem. Teach everyone how to do their taxes. Amen. Ballwinter, what division are you doing this year? The South. It already started last week. Oh, yes. It's true. Ethan, thank you for the tour. Appreciate you. Yep. That's it. Soulwinter, how does one get over an insecurity? It's a great question. I think you need to get to the root of why it is. Some of my most smart, like the smartest kids I've ever had were homeschooled. It needs to be done in the right way. But the insecurity thing, you have to get to the root of why you have that insecurity. I think that's how you do it. You have to understand the why, right? So let's just say it's, I don't know. Let's say it's like public speaking, right? So public speaking, I noticed that a lot of my freshmen and sophomore students, they were afraid to speak in public. Well, public speaking is one of the biggest fears in the entire world. So I started a public speaking class. You know what we did? Played improv games. That's what we did. It's an after school thing. Never got paid a dime. But we played improv games. Then I had them do every now and then make a speech about something you like. Be dinosaurs. I don't really care. Every time they said or like or start over. It's a filler word. They just did it until it was great. 60 seconds. Make a speech without using a filler word. You can do that, right? A lot more difficult than you think. And you just do it, and it's repetition over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah, exactly. Whose line? Yep. I then play improv games because that gets rid of the fear. And I told them, I said, listen, everyone in that class, maybe 2 are paying attention because they're crapping their pants about the fact that they need to go up and they need to do a presentation too. So, yeah, we just played improv games and people got comfortable in front of people real quick. Real quick. So, yep. That's it. That's it. Giggity with a tour. Other big one. Not every kid wants to go to college. Absolutely. Go to a trade school. Reddit tour forgot to teach students how to balance a checkbook. I don't even know if you need that nowadays, honestly. With online banking. Like, I haven't done that. But I just keep good records. Paul and Fire firmly believe that parents' involvement in their child's education is important as teachers for long-term success. 1,000,000% parents should be an ally. Bad Fire, compared to last year's team, who do you think in the AFC West improved the most? Raiders. I'd say Raiders. Yeah. John with a Fire took drama 1 and 2 back in senior year. This was one of the games. Listen, I have a whole Google Doc because I also was the president of an improv group in college. Like, yeah. That's the way to do it. Improv was great. I mean, again, I became a teacher. Do you know how many times I went to school with graduate students and they were afraid for public speaking and they were there for education to be a teacher? That's not good, folks. That's not good. So I did improv. I did public speaking classes. I did all that stuff. And all it is repetition. And just eventually, you get better and better and better at it. And that's it. And you learn how to do it. Doesn't mean you don't get nervous or you don't get dry mouth or you don't get sweaty palms or anything like that. But it's the realization of, hey, I've done this a whole bunch of times. That's it. That's it. Yeah, we're 18 minutes away from 3 hours. I gotta pee real quick because I haven't peed yet. So we're gonna pee for the D real quick. And we're back. We still have 442 people in here. We're at the height of our viewership. So we're gonna pee real quick. And be right back. Be right back. All right, let's rock. I wanna rock. Moosey, watch over the stream. To rock. Yo, it's hot in here. Moosey, why are you so good looking? Just, like, listen, getting all the ladies. It's fine. It's fine. Moosey's rocking. P for the D's. Love it. Love it. Chair. Chair. It'd be nice. Yeah, a chair emote. We don't have it. Most effective way to take notes, only you understand them. That's the only thing that's important. It's the only thing that matters. LQ, that's what people don't understand too. The pandemic, honestly, is going to... The ripple effects of that are going to be significant throughout the years. Because, like, you had middle school students who really didn't get 2/3 of middle school. And they're going into high school without that interaction. Yeah, like, it's bad. It's bad. It's not good. It's not good. Not good. Not great. Not great, man. Bulleter, do you ever get nervous speaking to us fans? I will admit, like, yesterday there was a little nervousness, like, before the game. But, no, this, honestly, at this point, I've also done this every Friday for, good God, when was the last time I missed a Q&A? It's been a while. It's been a long, long time. Repetition. And I think also at the same time, I've done this when there's 10 people in here. And no one's talking. And no one's asking questions. I know what that's like. I know when the chat is completely and totally silent and you're trying to fill the dead air in space. I've done 3.5-hour games where there's 5 people in it. But it makes you better because, one, it makes you appreciate where you are, but 2, it teaches you how to fill the space. Fletcher to fire. All hail Purple Satan. Keep up the great work, Tom. Thanks, Fletcher. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Colin to fire. One of the history teachers said the only race is the human race. I don't even know what to say. King of Tour, always love the Q&As. Make us a real community. Amen. Amen. Warlock with a do you think the 49ers are going to make the playoffs? All depends on Trey Lance, and then if Trey Lance doesn't do well, then it's all Jimmy Garoppolo. But I think they have a good shot. They have a very good shot. So, I've actually never played Civ, but I've heard it's amazing, and I'd probably get lost in it, to be completely honest with you. So, I did not know that Killer Clowns from Outer Space are getting a video game. I did not. Do I like the Milwaukee Brewers? I don't really think about them. But go Brewers. I just don't watch baseball, so I don't really care. I'd go to a Brewers game if I was in Milwaukee, but I'm not. So, that's it. That's it. That's it. David's like, yeah, I know that Civ 6 life. That's it. Listen, you rock. You rock. All good. Pre-50K. Yep. Listen. Things just evolve. I have not changed as a person in terms of how I treat this community and interact from when we had less than 1,000 subs to 300, whatever we have now. 328? Hopefully 329. Hold on, let's see. We are close to 329. Let's see. Let me see. Okay, hold on. Hold on to the night. Oh, we are 58 away. Oh, 57 now. There it is. 57 away. So close. Highlight of my teaching career, the first year I taught AP Euro. I was ready to run through a wall with those kids. We spent 4 Saturdays in a row. It was all voluntary, but like almost all my kids show up, doing practice exams, stay till 7 p.m., just like reviewing. I was ready to run through a wall. Ethan, what's your favorite cheese? The one that won't kill me, which is all vegan stuff. So, yeah, that 56. We're so close. Holly gifted 10 memberships. We lost a sub. Oh, God. We lost it. Oh, we got it. We got him back. They came back. Thank God. I thought the channel was over. No! Gruel says, you think they'll dethrone Reigns? I thought Sheamus and Gunther got 5 stars. Well deserved. Oh, they came back. Again. Probably Cody. Oh, God, they left again. Dash, they left again, Dash. Oh, God, they're leaving at a record rate, Dash. The channel's over. I'm sorry. I can't buy you the good quality dog food anymore. I'm sorry, buddy. We're going to have to start selling things. We're going to have to start selling the beer. We're going to have to start auctioning out the... You know what? We're going to make the crawl space into a B&B. That's what we're going to do. It's over now. There's some good space in there. There's some big spiders. There's some pretty big spiders in here. But you'll be okay. I believe in you. It's fine. We're gonna just go. We're gonna be good. Blue says I'm subbing and unsubbing just to troll Tom. That's valid. I wouldn't expect anything less, honestly. I wouldn't expect anything less. It's going back up. Maybe the channel will survive. Probably not. It's fine. It's fine. But I did learn about this because I wanted Perna to hit. I really wanted Perna to hit 300k, and I knew if I put, if he put the screen up there, that he would get it. So I'm very happy that he got it. Proud of him. Shane says, visiting your fine land in a couple weeks' time. Celebrating the big 5-0 via NFL games and concerts. Intro discussion today. Give my occupation elementary for me and your lingo. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Oh, plenty of students have found it. Plenty of students have found the channel. You know what happens? Oh my god, I found you on YouTube. Cool. Did you do your homework? No. Well, that sucks, huh? And that's it. And that is it. It's like a one-day conversation. The best was last year when I was remote for a good part of the year. And they saw all this. They saw the YouTube thing. And halfway through the year, someone goes, Mr. Grossi, you're a YouTuber? And I was like, bro, I literally have been doing this in my studio this entire time. There's a play button behind me. What'd you think I did? Like, what'd you think I did? D, what are they? It's like day trading, but with YouTube subs. Smoking fire, totally didn't switch my other channel, sub and unsub. No, yeah, no, totally not. No, totally not. It's okay. Fine. Oh, God. Yep. Yep. Someone's not paying attention. They were not paying attention at all. At all. He's sharp. He's sharp. It's true. True. Kelsey, moving on. Does anyone remember where you were 9/11? It's a nice light topic. I was in 6th grade middle school in my social studies class. Esmaquitare, are you a bourbon kind of guy? Of what brand? If not, what's your preferred drink? No, I'm not usually a bourbon guy. I like beer. I like beer. I'm a simple man. Beer. Whiskey solid. But yeah, I like beer. So, I will, there was times though, the first day of class, where someone was saying, like it was a virtual class, it was during the pandemic, and everyone left except one person. And I was like, hey, do you have like a question? It was first day, and they go, I'm a really big Packers fan. I'm subbed to your YouTube channel. And I was like, that's amazing. That's amazing. Solidifier, hey Tom, ready for another season of Grossi Posse. Can't wait to be disappointed. I mean, make another Super Bowl run. Go Pack, go, baby. Slim, good to see you. Mabel Tour, were you ever cursed with being a Jets fan? Oh God, never. Ew. Ray Tour, that smoking lamp guy is such an a-hole. Yes, it's true. It's true. It was great. It was fantastic. You're all too young if you weren't alive for 9/11. Yes, I have signed stuff for students at the end of the year. I have. It's true. It's true. It's true. 9/11 was the day before Chrissy's first birthday. Damn. Yeah, I was in 6th grade. It's like Moriello. Maybe that was my 8th grade teacher. I don't remember my 6th grade teacher. But yeah. The announcement came over the loudspeaker. Made sure my dad was okay because he was NYPD. He wasn't in the city at that point. But, yeah. Hold on. Someone just offered me a trade. Bowitor, wait, you're a YouTuber? No. Never been. Someone offered me a trade. I would have given them Alvin Kamara, and they would have given me the Buccaneers defense and Aaron Jones. But then they canceled it. I probably wouldn't have done that anyway. I am high on Aaron Jones, though. I think Aaron Jones is going to be really good this year. I do. Big B, what's going on, you beautiful son of a gun? Colin, it turned my parents married 3 days before 9/11. There you go. I know a lot of people, a weird amount actually, that their birthdays are on 9/11. And it's like, ugh, that's rough. Elijah Fire, Colts fan, believe we go Super Bowl this year. I think we'll have the #1 defense. Maybe. Studio to Fire, what do you think will be the starter season, Watson or Dobbs? Dobbs in the beginning, Watson near the end for the big plays. So, Tura, isn't your birthday next week? It is a week from today. It is a week from today. That's it. We got 5 minutes to go until 3 hours, and then we'll call it. Should I... It will be birthday Q&A. It will be birthday Q&A. Yep, Q&A on your B-Day. We'll do one more. Uno más. Uno más. Johnny Barks is like, yes. Holly is like, uno más. Uno más cerveza. Yeah, we'll do a little Allagash. We'll do Quiston Watson. Keep it going. Keep it going. It's only 10:30. Jesus Christ. Maple with Fire. Remind me of my former social studies teacher. Funny guy. Hated football, though. Went from nerd to corner and linebacker with unusual number 87. Jordy Nelson. Eric Witt! We were talking about you before because I got sent Voodoo Ranger, and I was like, that's Eric Witt's favorite beer. Michael with Fires. Browns fan. Hyped to watch Myles Garrett. I hope JOK takes another step. Dude, JOK? Yes. I love how we've gotten more people watching as we've gone on. Lazard is doubtful. I wouldn't start him in fantasy. That's it. If I could teach another subject besides social studies, what would I teach? English. English, definitely. Because I would pick freaking amazing books. I've always wanted to teach a history through media class where I use movies, TV shows, literature to demonstrate points. I've always wanted to teach that class. 100%. 100%. Yeah. I love that. That's kind of how one of my history classes went in college, and I loved it. And I loved it. It's true. Sure. I did. I would not teach the Bigfoot erotica. Sorry. Yeah, no, that'd be a big no. That would be a big no. Big no. Yeah, when there's collaboration, Colleen, between English and social studies, oh my God, I'll tell a story. You want to hear a story about that? You want to hear a story? Okay. All right. You want some like deets about teaching? I got you. Colin to reading a Christmas Carol next week in English. There you go. All right. Okay. So, my first year as a teacher, teach all 5 of them, same class. It's all freshmen, right? So I teach 5 of the same lesson every day. And it's my first year as a teacher, right? So I'm not necessarily hesitant, but I'm just like kind of keeping up with the kids and everything. Ready to Galladay or Pickens to replace Lazard? I might do Pickens just because I don't believe in Galladay just yet. But anyway, so I teach all freshmen. That's my first year. My second year, they give me freshmen and they give me sophomores. So it's Global 1 and Global 2. Teach them. My third year, I teach freshmen, honors. Then I teach sophomores. Then I teach AP Euro. And I think my fourth year was AP Euro, sophomores, freshmen, and psychology. Okay. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yes, this happened my third year. My third year. Okay. Am I an NHL fan? No. All right, my third year. So I finished the year. I taught AP Euro. I get the highest test scores in AP Euro that school has seen in 10 years. Tom Grossi. Whatever. So I do that. Michael, it's your number 1 fan who's a Bears fan. I appreciate you. I'm so sorry. My condolences for being a Bears fan. So, at the end of the year, there our principal who was not qualified to do the job because she was a moron and had no experience previously and honestly was just terrible. She had little groups come together, different departments, blah, 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 blah. Okay. She was a moron. And I mean that with my chest. And one of the groups was a collaboration between the English department and the social studies department. Now, I have told you now, even on this stream and in previous times, my students know how to write. We wrote a bunch of essays. It was great because they knew how to do it, and they were really good writers by the time they left my class freshman year, and they were able to do well. So we are sitting in this room, all the English teachers, all the social studies teachers, talking about random crap. Oh, it'd be great if we collab together, blah, 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 right? I wait for all of them to be done talking. And at this point, I have this information that my students have told me that they write maybe one essay a year in English. In English, where there are books. One essay, where they're really supposed to get their writing from. One. So I go, I speak up, and I say, because I'm at my third year at this point, and I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing. And I go, so when it comes to essay writing, how do you teach it? Because I want to make sure that we're teaching it in a similar way, right? They give me some answer, which is kind of like a very whatever. I go, okay. I go, can you tell me how many essays they write a year? Silence. And I mean dead silence. And I'm waiting. I'll just wait. And they go, well, and each teacher starts to say something a little different. And they start getting very defensive. And there's like, well, you know, it depends on the unit and, you know, and the class. And I go, listen, I don't need, I just want to know how many essays per year does a freshman write? Well, I mean, you know, I questioning our curriculum here, and I don't know. I go, thank you, I got my answer. Part one of that story. So it was at that point I knew that as my third year as a teacher, I was like, oh, okay, I'm teaching these kids how to write an essay. Then one of those English teachers with, say it with me, zero admin experience gets the principal's job. They get the principal's job. And if this last person was a moron, this person is an imbecile. She becomes the principal and immediately is very defensive because all the teachers start treating her differently because she has gone from teacher to principal. And she can't understand why all of a sudden teachers are kind of being a little distant from her. Maybe because you're an admin, you idiot. I regress. So, this is a true story. At the end of that year that I was just talking about when this meeting was going on, there's another group. Because in the school that I was in, there was no union. They could fire you without cause just because. They could. In the good old days, there was this thing called faculty council, in which it was a group of faculty members that basically were a liaison between the faculty and the admin saying, hey, this is what the faculty thinks could be better, blah, 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 right? There was no union whatsoever. So there were talks about bringing faculty council back. And when it came to scheduling this meeting, nobody volunteered to lead it. So who do you think volunteered to lead it? Myself. So, call this meeting. I'll run the meeting. The future to-be principal is in this meeting. And we have a great conversation. bring it back. You know, we definitely should bring this back. It would be helpful, kind of just like put the faculty at ease, because morale was under the ground because the school was being run terribly, especially because of the last principal. This would be a good idea to bring them back. Great. We all agree. Wonderful. Next year starts, right? It's September. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to bring back faculty council because we just had this whole big meeting back in June about it. And we're going to bring it back because we all agreed, everyone in the school, that it was a good idea. So I email the principal and I speak to her and I go, hey, I'm going to send an email out about faculty council to see who's interested in joining. I'll obviously be a part of it. I don't need to be the leader. I said, we'll vote. We'll vote 100%. I don't need to lead this. I have enough things to do. I'm freaking working 2 freaking full-time jobs. I'm doing after-school activities. I'm doing all this stuff, right? Like, I don't need to lead it. I'll leave it up to them. She goes, yep, great idea. I go, wonderful. I send out an email, and because I'm me, I detail exactly how it's going to work. Submit your interest. If you submit your interest, we'll go through, we'll pick members, we'll vote. I'm going to put out a vote to the entire faculty who they want to represent them, because that's what's fair, in which my name's going to be on it too. If I didn't get enough votes, I would not be a part of it. Like, we're going to pick like 5 or 6 members, whatever it wound up being. We're going to do that, right? I send out this email, and the format that I use is the exact words that we agreed upon in the meeting back in June. I send out this email. I get emails back, super excited, would like to, say I'm interested in it, blah, 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 blah. End of the day comes around, I drive home. I have at least a 45-minute drive home. I drive home, I put my key in the lock, I open the door. As soon as I open the door, my cell phone rings. And it's from my school. I go, okay. It's a little bit weird. It was a private school. It's a little weird. I pick up. It's my principal. She has called my cell phone. It's roughly 4 o'clock, 3:45, 4 o'clock at this point. She goes, hey, Tom. I go, hey, how are you? She's like, I'm good. And I go, okay, what's up? She goes, we need to talk about this email. And I said, okay, let's talk about this email. She goes, I am not going to be dictated to how this is going to work. I go, what are you talking about? She goes, you didn't pass this by me. You didn't run this by me. You didn't, and I'm not going to be, she said the word dictated at least 10 times. You're not going to tell me how this is going to run. Listen, faculty council is just a liaison. I don't have to listen to a word that you say. I'm the principal here. I get to do what I want to do. You're just an advisory board. I don't have to listen to you. Bam, bam. 45 minutes. 45. This one, I'm walking the dogs. I'm literally just getting chewed out on my cell phone, walking the dogs. Nice poop dash. Walking Sinclair. Great job. And I stop and I'm like, at some points, whenever I can chime in when she's done yelling, I go, nobody's dictating anything to you. This was all in the notes in the meeting that you attended, and I literally was copying them verbatim. Nobody's dictating anything. And she goes, well, that's not how it came off in the email. She goes, so we need to have another group meeting to see if this is what people actually want. I said, okay, I'm fine with that. We can totally do another meeting. If you want to do another meeting, we can do another meeting. She's like, I'm just not going to be dictated to. I said, I've heard you. I heard that you weren't going to get dictated to. I said, that's fine. No one's trying to dictate anything. This is what was established in the meeting. I have the notes. You were there. I have the notes. I can send you a copy of the notes if you need them again. And I literally copied them for almost verbatim. But if you would like another meeting, then I'll set up another meeting. Hangs up. I said, okay. So I set up a meeting. Another one. Basically, the same people come back. Principal comes back. She sits in the back. We talk. Everyone's confused why we're having this meeting again. We have the same exact conversation that we had back in June. Principal doesn't say a word. Doesn't say a word. And meanwhile, in that conversation, when she was literally belittling me for 45 minutes, which is very respectful to do, because talk to me like I was a child, and just because she was so insecure about how shitty of a principal she was basically didn't say a word and was like, well, people will disagree, you know, and you're dictating to people. I said, no, I'm not dictating anybody. I'm literally just using the notes from what people told me. And so I said, okay, did the meeting, same exact thing. She doesn't say a word, just winds up walking out. So I say, okay, I wind up doing exactly what I listed out in the email. Do that entire thing. We get faculty council back up and running. And I run faculty council for a year until I leave. Right? And it's at that point where I meet with her periodically. She does not like me at this point. Can't understand why. But it's okay, because I don't like her, and more importantly, I don't respect her. But I'm professional, because I can be a professional human being and not talk to an adult like a child, because that's what you're supposed to do as an adult. So anyway, fast forward. She winds up this past year retiring from being a principal after 3 years, because her contract is up, and winds up going to a completely different school to teach again, because she was so shitty at her job that literally she's like, I can't go back and teach at this school, and winds up going back and teaching at some random other school because she couldn't get a job at the school that she was at because she lost the respect of all of her colleagues. So, yeah. That's teaching. That is teaching. Retiring. Oh, thank you so much for her service. She did a Brett Favre. She pulled a Brett Favre. Yep. That's sometimes what you have as an admin. Because if you are a person of authority and you literally cannot talk to a person without being a total a-hole and talking to them like a child, you shouldn't be in that position. And I'm saying this at this point because I was in my 20s. I was young, so I was young back then. I was, 27, 28? And she was not that. And talking to me like that, and I was like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. She pulled a Tom Grossi. Mine is coming back. Yeah. So, Literally, I am the principal. She pulled the I am the principal card. I said, I know. I know you are. No one's disputing that. Doing a shitty job, but no one's disputing that. That's fine. So, go with 3 on lighter night. What's your favorite, most expensive piece of Packer memorabilia you own? Jersey or something else? My prize Packers possession is a Wisconsin Hall of Fame program signed by Vince Lombardi, Curly Lambeau, Don Hudson, Johnny Blood, and like 1 or 2 other guys. So, Johnny, yes, I have seen Vice Principals. Phenomenal show. I loved it so much. It was only on for like 2 or 3 seasons, right? It was so great. It was great. Ray Witzer should have asked her if she had a master's. Wasn't in education. Didn't have that admin. So to her, guarantee she watches your videos. She was front row in my comedy album. And that was the year where that was the year that she wound up becoming principal afterwards. Yep. Front row. And yeah, she was insecure. But like, I got it. And I had sympathy for that. You're in a role that you're not prepared for, which you shouldn't have gotten the job for. But you're in the role, and I get it. Like, you kind of have to, like, figure it out. Literally belittling one of your best teachers, because I'm sorry, at that point, I knew I was one of the best teachers in that building. Belittling your teacher and talking to them like they're a child? What's that going to get you? Like, seriously, what's it going to get you? So, yeah. Photoshop her out of the footage? Honestly, I probably still have the footage. Hold on. Ooh, where would that footage be? Hold on. Hold on, I might have that. I definitely kept it somewhere. Do I remember where? No, but I definitely did. Oh, it might be on my external. It's probably my external. Yeah, you'd only see the back of her head, but yeah. New and a tenor. Tom, genuine question, lifelong Jets fan. If you were in charge of the team, could you see any actual steps, long or short term, that could actually take to improve? Yeah, I think you have the head coaching staff. I think Saleh is going to do a nice job. You need to figure out if Zach Wilson's the guy. I feel like the Bears and the Jets should have a similar goal for the season. Find out if your QB is your franchise QB. If he is, great. If not, you need to move on. But building in the trenches is the way to go. And then build back. That's all. That's all. Hold on. Is there... If I go on the Allergic to Fun, because my album is on YouTube. Hold on, let's see. Debut comedy album. That's me. Man, I was skinny back then. Oh, that's her husband. Hold on. Hold on, let's see if we can... Well, I'll skip through and see if we can see her. There's Tom Grossi. Maple Tour, talk to you like that difference. Here's my DS. There you go. Alright, that's her husband right there. Hold on. I don't know if there's gonna be a wide shot with that. It's ambition. I don't think there's gonna be a wide shot. Unless it's in the beginning. Hold on. That's her! Oh no, that wasn't her husband. I think that's her right there. Right there. Because that was the second show. Yup, it's right there. Because this is a mix between the first and the second show. Right there. Yup. She's literally right there. Show it to her. Principal probably Umbridge from Harry Potter. Honestly, yeah, except without the effectiveness. Right there. Get her, Jeff! Get her, Jeffrey Bezos. Yeah, my first showing of this album went so much better. We sold out both shows. But the second one just did not hit as well as the first. Did not hit as well as the first. Nope. Let's see, what are, when's the last time someone commented? 3 weeks ago. There we go. You get a heart. There you go. Oh, yeah. Fun times. Fun times. It was a solid album. It was solid. It was good. It was good. Did I witness bullying? Yes. 100%. 100%. Yeah, that's the thing. Karen really wasn't in the vocabulary back then. But, yeah, I'd say. I would say. Aiden, we're still going. Holly says, share it with my family. Appreciate you, Holly. Giga Tour, Karens are evolving. They're becoming the manager. They're evolving. Studio to Fire. Sounds like a crappy School of Rock movie. Yeah, Principal. It was a private school. It definitely was. Oh, that's not great, Ishii. That's not great. Don't want to see that. But yeah. No, I always thought my second album would be called Teacher of the Year. And this was after I was done teaching. So I got people texting me who were watching the stream go, this is a true story. It's true. They were in the meeting. They were in the meeting. This off season, I want it, Johnny. It might be like a couple off seasons away, but I do. I have written some stuff. I really do. Aiden, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Oh, Trunchbull, Joe? The Trunchbull? There you go. Do I like working in private or public schools better? Private paid me crap, but you had the flexibility because there was no region, so that was really nice. But, yeah. I just want to go somewhere where I can teach. That's all. That's all. That's it. That's it. Trunchbull. Now that's... Oh, it's a chokey, right? It was a chokey. Scott, welcome to the Grossi Posse. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that and I will say the fact that they didn't have regions was nice because then I could like dive into a bunch of history. But yeah, it was good. It was good. Yeah, I think it might still be Teacher of the Year. We'll see. We'll see. I always thought that that would be it. So wait, Tour, what got you to attempt stand-up? I did improv in college, and I loved it. Got offered a spot with Upright Citizens Brigade, UCB, which is basically a line to SNL, but I turned it down because I thought I'd be teaching. Turned out that didn't work out. And I missed it so much that after a couple of years, I wanted to do improv, but it's so tough to get people together, so I just did stand-up by myself. But Robin Williams died. I did stand-up that week. My first open mic. So, let's go, Eric Witt. Vehicle at tour, Scarsdale High School teacher salary. Bro, they make so much money. Scarsdale's crazy, though. They do so much stuff. They crazy. They crazy. They are. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What you do is better than SNL anyway. Yeah, I wouldn't accept an SNL job now. Like, I like my job. Very much so. So, I like it. I like what I do. Oh, there's a Tom Grossi in the chat. There you go. Maple in a fire. My 2 AP US and World History classes never got past World War I. Teacher cried to green fields of France both times. That's a bad teacher. Not because the crying part. It's because you can't get past World War I. That's a big problem. That means that you're just not good. That means you're not good. Oh, Prolins, go back. You saw all the puppers. You saw all the puppers. Yeah. No, it's funny. There was a moment. Ray, you have a new comment on your video. Of course I do, Ray. Of course I do. Of course. You ever seen Sasquatch erotica? There was a moment, and I'm trying. I'm really, really trying. Before I started streaming yesterday, because like Wednesday I felt terrible. Like I just felt like garbage. I was not mentally prepared at all for the season. I was exhausted. And Thursday came around and it didn't really feel like football to me. I was like, okay, yeah, football, blah, blah. But like 20 minutes before, I was like, oh my God, there's football. And like 5 minutes before the stream, I closed my door and I'm like, yeah, this is my job. This is pretty effing awesome. And then we hopped into it. So, yeah. Improv is very important for D&D. So, yes, there's a lot of crossover there. All right. Let's see what this comment is. Son of a gun. Let's see. New comment, go Burr. Commenting for the culture. Now there's more comments. Hey, ladies, comment. Ray, you weren't even the only one to do it. I love it. I love it. Oh, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. D&D Part 2, I don't think the guys want to do it again. There was no comment after D&D of like any expressive interest. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought it was gonna be a really big thing, but like no one advertised it, and yeah, that sucked. But Ben did a fantastic job. I was really happy with him, and he put a lot of work into it, and I greatly appreciate it. So I'm glad he got all the support and love from the community that he did. But we'll see. We'll see. I had fun. I'm glad we tried it. But North Saga's next year. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not up to me. You know, I mean, like, that's one of the things that with Packcast, why I do what I do is because, think about it. Like, you are a person, right? You think of an idea, you're pitched an idea, you're super excited about it, you love it. Eventually, that excitement deteriorates, and then you're like, I don't really like it anymore. I have found that with myself, not tooting my own horn or anything like that, my work ethic, like, I might not be as good as some of these YouTubers. My content might not be as good. My editing might not be as good. You know, all this stuff. but they won't beat me in work ethic. And so if a video needs to come out at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's going to come out at 2 o'clock in the morning. If a video needs to come out within 45 minutes of the announcement, it's going to come out within 45 minutes of the announcement. And I found that relying on other people to have a similar work ethic to you is very difficult. And that's why for so many years, like, I really was like, I can't get an editor because the stuff that I do is so quick. Like, I get, like, for example, last night I did a 2-team reaction video. I put my jerseys out ahead of time because I knew which teams I was going to do. I turned this stream off and I went and recorded. I was hungry. I had to pee. I hadn't eaten dinner. I was tired. I sat on that couch, banged out that reaction, boom, boom, edit, upload, done. Within 45 minutes, that thing is out because that's what needs to happen. There's not a lot of people doing that. And again, I'm not thinking superior or almighty or anything like that, but like, I can't make an editor do that. There's no way. Now, thankfully, with the shorts, with the rankings and the prediction videos, Johnny Barks has been absolutely crushing it in that department. And I'm able to get it to him ahead of time. And, you know, we're doing great stuff and I love it. You know, but like, there's some stuff that it's difficult. You know, people aren't going to be staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning to edit videos. But I'm going to do it because that's what I want to do. Hot parents, Zach Wilson? Sports with your opinions on yesterday's game. Bills looked frickin' frackin' phenomenal. Phenomenal. Well, that's the thing, Scott. He says Titans reactions are on point. People who do not like me, which there's plenty, which is fine. They go, oh, you talk about the Bears, you talk about the Vikings and the Lions. I love the Green Bay Packers. That's first. I also love football. The more I know about other teams, especially within the division, it helps me with my Packers knowledge. Because when I'm talking to a Vikings fan, I know what's going on with your team. When I'm streaming a game, I know what's going on with your team because I know the players that are on it. And to me, that just helps me call a better game, do better content. So yeah, I'm good with that. That's all. Vehicle to fire. Scarsdale high years were awful. Such a rigorous curriculum. It was all about getting the A. Such a competitive environment. I do not doubt that at all. I don't. I appreciate it, M. I imagine like every 5 minutes you're like, unsubscribe. Already said a good thing. Subscribe. No, unsubscribe. I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case. There's a comment war. Great. Good. Good. There should be. There should be. We are 2 minutes away from 3.5 hours of this Q&A. It just happens. We're vibing. We are vibing. Bump, 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 bump. Oh, man. Next week, birthday Q&A. That's going to be something. That's going to be something. Benny Tech! What's going on, buddy? No, we just started. Yeah, it's in Pleasantville, Colleen. Yep, it's in Pleasantville. Yep. Sports here. Why do schools teach non-real world curriculum? Most of the time, it's not set by them. It's set by people who have never stepped foot in a classroom, which is a big problem. Which is a very, 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 very big problem. Yeah. Now I'm gonna crush this beer. We'll go 3.5 hours, and then we're gonna skedaddle. I have to pee real bad. So, yeah, we're rock. Well, we've made it 3.5 hours. We rocked. We kept about 400 people in basically this entire time. But folks, I appreciate you. We hung around. We talked about life. We talked about history. We talked about teaching. We talked about sports. We talked about everything. Maybe we'll have some clips from the interview. Again, I can't recommend it enough. Go check out that interview. It was good. It was good. It's one of the least viewed things on my channels, but It's good. It's real good. But folks, I appreciate you. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll start streaming at 4 o'clock Eastern on Sunday with the Packers Vikings. Streaming Sunday Night Football. Papa Grossi will be here. And then probably doing a 2-team reaction and then also a post game for the Packers game on Sunday. Yeah, we'll be probably uploading things at 2 a.m. Vehicle Atory, we've seen Prince EA videos on school. I have not. But folks, thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom freaking fracking Grossi. And as always, go Pack Go. And if you're Brandon Perna, let's ride. Let's ride.